Hey guys, and welcome back to Runic Survivor, and today I wanted to get a little more into some of the upgrading mechanics here with runes, try to do a slightly longer run and see if we can progress more. So we're starting off here with Blast, which is sort of the Balm spell, and I've already put one split on it. We also have an Enlarge right there as well, so we want to have larger Balms that are going to split. I want to kind of go for more of an area damage setup. You can also choose, there's lots of customization in this game. You can also choose to go for more of like a small area high damage type of blast as well. So on that roll, we'll take another blast because my thought process is we can upgrade that spell and that will help with our customization as well. At this point, not totally sure. Should probably take Link, but I got split on this one as well. So it just depends what we want to go with at that point. I'm thinking about it. I ended up taking Split. Probably should have taken Link in hindsight, but that's what we ended up doing. I wanted to try and get, the first spell to be kind of a little more powerful first, because the thing is you can link them, but if your first spell isn't really good enough to trigger the link, then it's not really gonna happen. So I decided to upgrade the split there. That was another reason I took that split. So I'm going to go with overwhelming split on this one, simply to try the extreme amount of to try the extreme amount of area split. So we'll try this one just because I think it might be kind of crazy, especially once I can upgrade Blast, because it also has a perk that allows it to increase its radius as well. So this could be sort of a huge blast radius, although it probably won't do a ton of damage, but the hope is that I can kind of chain that maybe with like Aura or something like that that would do more damage, or maybe I'll just chain it with another. We'll see what we got. We'll see what spells we have there. And as you can see, fairly large area now that this blast is occurring in. Man, this is the part I hate the most, are those little guys, the ranged guys that shoot the red things. Definitely one of the things that's cost me the most hearts. So thinking about this one here, but I should probably take Blast so I can go for the upgrade. That seems like probably the most logical choice. So now we can upgrade our spell here, put those 3 runes in, and my thought process initially was to go with a massive blast just to kind of go with the theme, stick with the theme, but these other ones could be interesting as well. As you can see, you get one for knockback, one for lower size, higher damage, and then of course this one here, larger size, lower damage. Of course, that's also kind of what I'm getting with the split as well. But you can see now the area of this is absolutely massive, which is pretty cool. Definitely kind of nice with the freezing effect on there, because it allows me to maneuver around pretty easily. And then if I run into any sticky situations, I can simply freeze the mobs and run around them. Fire would be pretty good, but so would Pain on this one. The thing I'm looking for now at the moment, though, if I'm being honest, is probably a linked rune so that I can get my next thing going. And finally, we got it. I just skipped ahead to where I got it. And we'll get this set up here. I need to get some runes swapped around. And then, oh yeah, actually we don't have another spell yet. So we're going to have to acquire another spell rune to complete that. So the linking is really a 2-step process, 2-upgrade process. You have to get the linking rune, unless you're starting with a link, which I think there's a hat that starts you with a link, but otherwise you have to get the linked rune, and then you also have to get a spell to go with it, a spell to be linked. So this going pretty well here, honestly, and I finally ran across the first boss here, and that was pretty easy. We got the first guardian down. Let's see what we have in here. 3 items, Amulet of Kronos, conditions on enemies last twice as long, leave a trail of fire, or Scythe orbits your body, damaging enemies. We'll take the Scythe because I'm not really sure what the other ones are going to do. The Scythe, at least, I'm familiar with this type of thing from Vampire Survivors, and it was reasonably serviceable. You know, potentially a reasonably useful thing. Depends how much damage it does, though. I decided to take another blast. Might have reconsidered that in hindsight, but that's what we're going to link. So what we need to do is get the link. Well, initially, I thought I was going to go with a double setup here, but in my experience, using right and left click didn't seem to work so well for me, so I was mostly focusing on one track at a time, because that way I could sort of spam it more easily. Whereas if I used left and right mouse button, what I found was that I'd run out of mana, and then like neither spell would fire off as frequently, which led to the chain stuff not going off, which led to my overall DPS being a lot lower. So thus far, I've been focusing more on just a single track there. So you can see I rearranged quite a bit. And now we have Balm linking to Balm, or Blast linking to Blast. And that's doing pretty well here. Taking out pretty big groups of these guys, which is good because this particular monster here does ones that look like a large skeleton. Those are pretty tanky normally. Those are typically a good test of where your build is at, because I've had some builds that scaled so poorly I couldn't do anything against those guys, and I pretty much knew at that point my run was probably on thin ice. So you want to be able to at least take out some of those guys. Wasn't quite sure what to do here. Probably should have taken Aura and then tried to go for a second link, but I ended up making a slightly different decision there. Only got 2 HP left. However, the run on the whole is going okay here compared to my previous runs. This was one of my first runs that I thought was a little bit better. Felt a little more comfortable, but somehow now the mobs seem to be scaling past me, so I'm like, we have to change this like ASAP right here. So I flip in a damage rune right there. I try to go max damage rather than split to see if we can just get some chains happening. And that seemed to help out a little bit here. I'm thinking we probably go with another damage rune and then we upgrade. So let's try that. What do we want to go with? Precision Strike seems like it would probably be most likely to give me a chain. Well, I don't know. Maybe the blue one would be. Well, 100% damage, though. That would be the best. But the mana cost might be problematic. Except I was putting it on the chain, so it might not even mattered. Right, let's go with that and see what we get off of this. Okay, so I'm able to get some type of chain going, but... Ooh, okay, yes. We're kind of back to... After a while, what happens is it goes back to a phase where some of the weaker mobs come out, and typically this is a good phase to try and farm a little bit, because it's easier to get your chains going. The other trick you can kind of do is use the weaker mobs to get chains off and then go back and run by the tankier mobs, those larger skeletons, and use the chain that you have going off to try and take those guys out. But kind of use the smaller ones, smaller monsters, almost like sort of like kind of like a fire starter of sorts. So I upgraded the fire here, and as you can see, it has a link applied to it. What I didn't really realize very well with this was that probably the better way to do it, if I'm just doing one mouse button, would be to put it on that top row, because then it will chain off of those spells, whereas here it's only chaining off of a spell that I'm not even activating, so wasn't really the best move right there. But what I discovered, there's some crazy stuff in this game. Like, for example, if I put that fire upgraded rune in the top row, I'd get another row beneath it, and I could put a link at the end of that and have like a whole new row of linked spells. So it gets completely crazy like that. Do we want to take another split here? I could take Aura. Yeah, unfortunately on this run, I just didn't realize that if I put that fire rune in the top, either of the top spots, it would have linked it to that. So I could have gotten a third spell linked up there, but I just didn't realize how it worked in this one, really. But this is also the nice thing about Blast that I'm not realizing here. If I just point, see, if I point it more towards the middle where those weaker mobs are, I can kind of ignite the whole pack, and it gives me some crazy explosions. And then right here, unfortunately, we just came to the end of the line a little bit. All the weaker mobs were gone, and I'm like pushing through, but they're closing in. Can we escape from this? I got through that part, and then I just kind of misplayed it. And yeah, not very much gold earned. It's because what I learned is that you only really get gold, I think, mostly from defeating the bosses. So that's why it's important to try and defeat them on particular runs. So 155 gold, should be able to unlock something. I'll probably go for the staff with a split first, the trident maybe? That's one I might do. Or the hat that has a link connected to it. That's another one I'm interested in, since that one seems to be really helpful to have a linked rune right off the bat. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, and I will see you in the next video.